Hello and welcome to Storytelling. The protagonist of today's tale is Kathy, who, in her quest for freedom and happiness, ended up ruining her marriage that had lasted for 30 years. For over 3 decades, Kathy and I have been married to each other. We first became acquainted when we were young, and now I am 59 years old and she is 55 years old. We have 3 children who are now adults. There have been times in our life together that have been both happy and sad, but we have never failed to be there for one another. My heart is completely devoted to Kathy. Kathy is friends with a few people who are committed to social justice, identity politics, and feminism, among other important causes. It's a little bit different from what I really believe, but that's okay. Everyone has their own thoughts and opinions regarding these issues. Kathy and I have conversations about these topics on occasion, and we make an effort to comprehend each other's points of view. Despite the fact that Kathy had or was beginning to develop these ideas, I did not pay attention to my thoughts. Nothing of the sort made sense to me at all. Kathy held some strong beliefs regarding the oppression of women for a significant amount of time, which occasionally caused me to feel frightened. Not only had she never been depressed, but she had also never been discriminated against. Because I found these conversations to be unsettling, I frequently attempted to change the subject whenever they were brought up. I have witnessed these so-called woke women on television yelling and talking in a manner that is completely illogical, as well as yelling at people when they did not have any rational response. Regarding Kathy, I was concerned that she was being influenced by them. All of a sudden, she began to have doubts about our marriage, claiming that it had become monotonous. I suggested that we go to therapy in order to work on our relationship, but she was more interested in going on a vacation by herself. It was with some reluctance that I agreed, but I later learned that she had gone with her friends, who I considered to be harmful. After a week had passed since Kathy had returned from her vacation, she appeared to be an entirely different person. The fact that she had her hair cut short contributed to the peculiar air that surrounded her. I had the impression that she was someone I had never encountered before. When she arrived, she did not give me a hug or show any other form of affection, which was unsettling and had the effect of making me feel like a stranger to her. Despite my opposition to some of the protests that Kathy participated in, she continued to spend more time with her friends and participate in protests. My concerns about the path she was taking were voiced to her in a serious conversation that I had with her. I warned her that she needed to re-evaluate the decisions that she had made. On the other hand, she did not pay attention and continued engaged in her activities. The situation became more serious when she was arrested for taking part in a demonstration that caused traffic to be disrupted. I was tasked with picking up Kathy from the police station, and while we were sitting in the car together, we engaged in a very heated discussion. This made me even more concerned about what was going on with her because she did not speak at any point during the entire conversation. For the purpose of disseminating her feminist ideas, Kathy started using social media, more specifically TikTok. She began to amass a respectable following, and it became abundantly clear that she was devoting a considerable amount of time and effort to the production of her educational videos. Both getting dressed and producing content for the platform would consume a significant amount of her time. It appeared as though her activities on social media were taking up a significant amount of her time and energy. I happened to come across one of Kathy's videos by accident one day, and the message that it conveyed was absolutely horrifying to me. The phrase "good morning" was heard from Kathy in the video. Do you want to end up being a miserable woman as you get older? At least, I don't believe any of us do. On the other hand, we have all witnessed those wives who appear to be miserable, constantly complaining and nagging their husbands. We sincerely hope that we will never be one of them. Don't you know how it takes place? Frequently, it begins with the act of raising a family and working diligently, and then all of a sudden, when we are in our 50s or 60s, we acknowledge that we have nothing left for ourselves. We are unable to live a life apart from our husband or our family, and as a result, we end up feeling resentment toward everyone. Consequently, here is what I believe: each of us must produce our own lives. There is a need for us to have something that is unique to us, something that gives us a sense of fulfillment and brings us to life. Even if we have a healthy marriage, it is still possible for us to be miserable. Getting a divorce is not necessarily necessary for us, but we do need to discover what makes us happy and gives us the sense that we have lived our lives to the fullest. There is a limited amount of time, and life is short. Is it possible that this is our final year? Do we want to continue living it the way we are doing it right now? I seriously doubt it. Therefore, let us find a way to live each day, take pleasure in our marriages if they are healthy, and be our own people, apart from our husbands and our children. Women ought to break free of their shackles and travel the world. There is a great deal of opportunity available to us, and it does not stop when the children leave home. Numerous paths can lead us to a state of contentment and fulfillment. Anyhow, I really hope that was helpful. I had the impression that she was discouraging women from getting divorced. I went home that evening and confronted her, and to my surprise, she informed me that she was leaving and that she had already packed her bags. Even though I made an effort to stop her, she retaliated by stating that she is dissatisfied with her life and that she is looking for freedom and happiness. The responsibilities that come with being a grandmother or my wife are not something that she is interested in. She has the desire to take pleasure in her life and to broaden her horizons beyond this prison. I was at a loss for words and had the unfortunate feeling that I had lost my wife to poisonous individuals who had tainted her mind. I did not attempt to stop her, rather, I simply told her that I will miss her and requested that she return as soon as she had finished her exploration. Having relocated to a more compact apartment in the heart of the city, she had moved in. After I had informed my children about their mother, they all responded by saying that she is just going through a phase and will return to the house in the near future. In agreement with her, I merely waited for her to arrive. My hope was dashed in a short amount of time, and it was replaced by shock when I was served with the divorce papers. All of this was planned out, and she was not in any phase at the time. Although I called Kathy, she did not pick up the phone. During this time period, my children did make an effort to persuade my wife to reconsider the divorce, but she was able to silence them as well. A few weeks later, we reached an agreement to end our marriage, and after 30 years of marriage, I found myself without a partner. I noticed that Kathy had uploaded a new video the following day. Well, I've accomplished it. I am currently sitting on my brand new bed, which has the feel of a bed fit for a princess. Yesterday, it rained throughout the entire day while I was moving around, but when I woke up today, I felt different. For the first time in years, I experience a sense of liberation, as if a burden had been removed from my shoulders, and I am genuinely excited. As a result of the fact that I have not yet unpacked everything, my place is still a little bit of a mess. Additionally, the apartment is quite small, which means that I will need to organize like crazy. Having said that, I am extremely thankful for this shift. After a couple of weeks of moving non-stop, I am finally settled into my new apartment. I have been moving non-stop for such a long time. The following day, I will provide you with a brief tour of it. All I wanted to do was say hello for the time being. In addition to that, my very handsome boyfriend is currently preparing dinner for me. It is a good life. I was riled up and my heart was broken. Not only did she destroy my house, but she has also destroyed my heart. The video was also seen by my children, who then called me to offer their support and encourage me to move on with my life. Over time, I was able to move on and eventually came across a remarkable woman named Maya who was in her early 40s. She was a teacher at a high school without a significant other. We are inseparable and have been going strong ever since we first met. Due to the fact that I did not consider it to be significant, I did not inform my ex-wife. It was my intention to take my children and Maya on a trip together so that we could all get to know each other and get along better. Maya requested that I extend an invitation to my ex-wife, Kathy, because she believed it was essential for her to be aware that I am going to be spending time with someone. I then called Kathy and invited her to the event. In the beginning, she did not consent to accompany us on our trip. At that point, I had not yet informed her about Maya. Afterwards, my daughter called her and asked her to come along, but she also informed her that the invitation would not be extended again in the future. Kathy was the last person to join us on the incredible boat ride that I had arranged for all of us a while ago. She came by herself. In addition to introducing her to Maya, I expressed to her how pleased I am with Maya. The expression on Kathy's face was red, and it appeared as though she was not anticipating me to get a life for me. I wish I could have taken a picture of her at that very immediate moment. I took pleasure in Kathy's revulsion toward Maya and me throughout the entirety of the trip. I was really enjoying the results, despite the fact that Maya had a perfectly good intention. Following a few days, we came across yet another video of Kathy. The past few days have been extremely traumatic for me, and I blame myself for it. I am taking full responsibility for it. I knew, on some level, that I would have a strong physical and emotional reaction when I found out that my ex-husband was in a new relationship. This is true even though I am aware that it is not entirely my fault. Despite the fact that we have been apart for a year, we continue to spend some time together as a family, and he has assured me on numerous occasions that he is not seeing anyone else. Nevertheless, it was revealed that he was. There were times when I questioned whether or not I ought to have gone on the trip. My daughter was able to persuade me to participate, despite the fact that I did not want my ex-husband to get the wrong idea. After looking back, I can see why she believed that he might not invite me again. She stated that he might not invite me again. No, the fact that he was in a new relationship was not the thing that hurt me the most. I already have a boyfriend of my own. However, he did not report that to me. When I was in his presence, I had the impression that he still loved me. I accepted his invitation to accompany him and our daughters on a trip, which he had extended to me. Nevertheless, while I was on the trip, I came across some inappropriate texts, and it was a horrifying experience. After that, there was a severe trauma that occurred. I experienced a breakdown on both a physical and emotional level, and I had the impression that I had completely lost control of my feelings. I'm having a hard time coming to terms with the fact that it was such a terrible experience. It wasn't that she was upset about losing me, rather, it was more about losing the exclusive access to my resources and the stability that he provided. The particular event that triggered her reaction was when she found out that I was telling another woman, but I loved her. Not only did we have a romantic relationship with each other. Kathy's boyfriend, on the other hand, was only interested in casual relationships. I, on the other hand, do not typically invest financially or emotionally in her. On the other hand, when a man like me is in love, he frequently desires to establish a whole life with the woman he loves. The real trauma that Kathy experienced was realizing that another woman had taken her place in my life. Kathy started calling me on a significant number of occasions, during which she conveyed her regret and brought to my attention the fact that I had requested that she return. I responded by telling her that it was too late and that she would no longer be a part of my life. I said that it was too late. The ship has sailed, she had made her decision, she had created her own circumstances, and now she needed to live with the consequences of the choices she had made. 2 days later, we came across another video that Kathy had uploaded. The way things are going for me isn't exactly ideal. My mind keeps going back to the times when things were going well and how things used to be. It's possible that I'm behind all of this. It's possible that I'm self-centered or selfish. I'm having a hard time dealing with all of the fakery and pretending that everything is fine. I believe that I was in a state of shock earlier, but now I am beginning to come to terms with the reality of the situation. The fact that it is only a separation and that there are worse things in the world does not change the fact that I am uncertain about what my life will be like after this. I am only able to recall the positive aspects. It is difficult for me to recall anything negative. I remember this lovely woman who was a close friend. They even invited me to dinner tonight, and I bought presents for their children. I will never forget her lovely presence. Instead of staying at home with my own family, I thought it would be better for me to go visit them and have dinner with them. It is not clear to me why I am experiencing this emotion, but I long for my family to be a family. If it means that I will be able to reunite with my family, then perhaps it is worth it to continue to be miserable because, without them, I am no longer sure of who I am. It's not that I'm crying because I'm drinking, rather, I'm crying because getting through this is so challenging. I am hoping that you are having a wonderful Saturday. There is a possibility that I will be fine in the future, it is just that everything I have ever known seems to be gone. Despite the fact that many members of my family are physically present, we are no longer a unit. I am going to go sit with another family, and while it is gracious of them to invite me, it is not going to be an easy experience. When my daughter called me, she asked me to do something, but I told them that their mother had chosen this life, and that I had attempted to prevent her from doing it. She yearned for independence. She embodies liberty. Currently, she is in a new romantic relationship, and she is free to travel wherever she pleases. My daughter concurred and stated that she agrees with every word that I said. However, she is unable to avoid feeling sorry for her mother because of the actions that she has taken. There was yet another video to be found a few days later. Good morning to you. There are times when I question my actions and the reasons behind the decisions that I have made. I had a dream about my husband in which he was not present last night. He came to me by saying that he had suffered a severe injury to his hand and was crying. During the dream, he was in need of my assistance, and I proposed that I move in with him to take care of him. We had the impression that we were beginning again, just as things had been in the past. The dream was distressing, and it is not even conceivable that it existed. I suppose that's just the way that dreams are. Even though things are different now, my body is telling me that I still love him and that I will continue to love him forever. There are times when I find myself feeling angry and wondering why he does not believe that I should have a fair share. However, the amount of money that he is willing to give me is insufficient. To a certain extent, I was responsible for everything that we had. I played a significant role in helping him, encouraging him, and being there for him, even when things went wrong. My parents, who lent us money, were the ones who provided the financial assistance. I made errors, and I paid the price for them, particularly when I left the company. Despite the fact that everything he did appeared to be acceptable, I am responsible for everything that I did. At all times, I am held responsible for everything. This is the point in my life that I am currently at. While he has more money than I do, I am having a hard time finding a place to live that is suitable for me. There are some individuals, particularly men, who hold the belief that women are not deserving of anything, that they are freeloaders, and that they ought to be able to take care of themselves. After 30 years of providing care for another person, I have the impression that I am undervalued and worthless. It's not easy. The video left me with the impression that she has completely lost her mind. During the course of the divorce settlement, she did, in fact, receive her fair share of the fortune. I followed the law and did everything in accordance with the book. She is not allowed to use gaslighting to make me appear to be the antagonist in this story, nor is she allowed to blame me for the decisions that she has made. In retaliation, I intended to file a lawsuit against her for the video she posted. Following that, Maya halted me and requested that I disregard her. In a phone call, my children informed Kathy that she must apologize for the content that she posted or else she will be cut off from the lives of everyone. Because she had no other option, Kathy did post a feeble apology, citing her mental health as the reason for her actions. Following the wedding of Maya, which took place a few days later, I removed Kathy from all of my social media accounts. Listener, if you have made it this far, I would appreciate it if you would click the button that says subscribe. This will be of great assistance.